Hi, everyone. Yep, Calvin Zhou from Shrapnel, one of the co-founders of the project. Neon is our studio name, and Shrapnel is the game. Okay, so Shrapnel, what are we? We are a AAA focused UGC platform for extraction-based first-person shooters on the blockchain. Here's some concept art to start off. And our studio spun out of HBO Interactive. So what you're seeing is the entire HBO Interactive team. Basically, AT&T merged with HBO and, kind of went south. And so we decided to spin out and create, a sort of a AAA independent studio. Previously, most of the team members were on the Microsoft publishing team, leadership team with Phil Spencer. So safe to say that we know a thing or two about AAA publishing, and we really bring in that world-building transmedia experience as well from HBO. Won a BAFTA and a couple of Emmys as well. So here is a actual sort of in-game render of the character, just showing off the power of the Unreal 5 engine. No, that is not a picture. That is actually an in-game render, a UE5 asset. Same here. These are sort of in-game builds, just giving you an idea of the shadowing, the details of Unreal 5. Here's another sort of shoot house style map that we're now creating. So the core concept of Shrapnel is creation and modding are kind of at the heart of humanity. We start off on the playground, creating maps, games for ourselves, and we simulate that out and then translate that into Roblox and Minecraft in the digital world. And from there, we branch out and sort of age into FPSs such as Fortnite, Call of Duty, and Halo. But those games sort of take away the love and enjoyment of modding and focus players on stats, headshots, kill death ratios, and flexing. So we just really want to bring back the art and spirit and love of creation and modding, give it to the community, create a platform, not a game, but a platform for players to sort of mod at their heart's desire, create the maps that they want to play, create skins, gear, whatever you have it. Proud to say all of our assets are on chain except for bullets and consumables, and it's really just a people's platform. There's a huge gap in demand for that right now, as most FPSs are sort of top-down. There's a couple of incumbents who are the almighty creators, and they cram down the content on the fans. This is a chance for the fans to become co-creators of the platform and really become sort of a weekend warrior type, where there's a lot of folks, a lot of gamers like myself, who want to get into AAA gaming but can't, or priced out of it because they don't have a pedigree or a job at Ubisoft. This is your chance to get into the AAA content creation process and be an owner of the platform as well. One thing we are also looking to make innovations in this space for is the whole revenue attribution model. So we do have creators, our plan to have creators to come in and create prefabs, so like map objects such as bridges, waterfalls, cars, barrels, and whatnot, and put those on a license on a marketplace for map creators to license. Those are all going to be NFTs as well. And we see this as a division of labor, sort of, there's a supply chain in every asset class. If you want to build a house, you don't go and cut down the wood yourself. There's a supply chain for that. Same goes with map creation. We view a marketplace where map creators will basically license a lot of these objects that are already created as NFTs, and they're just the people who sort of combine all the materials together into the final map. And the problem with that co-creation process today is that platforms like YouTube, who have co-creators on them, it's often a black box who gets the revenue, right? Because the YouTube creator gets the revenue, and then they work out a side deal with all the co-creators in the video. We believe NFTs solve that through automatic attribution, and we do plan on sharing protocol revenue with all the NFT and map holders as well. And finally, I get asked this question a lot: what is your sort of marketing angle? What is your plan of attack? And I can go down with the usual answers, such as we have Shroud as one of our influencers on the team. But I thought about this answer a lot, and actually I do think it's the community that will actually promote it, because we are a UGC creator platform. We'll be releasing creator tools even before the game is launched, such that the community can iterate on the content. They could post it on Twitter, social media, and have their friends comment on it. And that in and of itself is the best kind of marketing. Organically coming from the community, content creation, content is king. So I do believe that will spur up a viral marketing campaign just for the platform. So just to review some of our NFT classes, like I said, everything is an NFT, including land, crafting materials. We got gear as an NFT. There's headquarters as social spaces, and I should probably talk a little bit about the game itself. For those of you who are into FPSs, we are an extraction-based shooter. What that means is there's a permanent inventory. What extraction-based shooters do is you come in, it's a high-stakes treasure hunting. So you come in, you collect gear, you kill other players, you take their gear, and you put it in your inventory that you can then use for the next round. So it adds that progression element to an FPS. It's essentially an RPG layered on top of an FPS. And that's essential for blockchain, actually, because blockchain records the permanence of state and state transitions. So that progressive element we think is quite important for an FPS. We also like the fact that RPGs are at the core of humanity, right? We all like collecting things. We all like grinding, spending hours collecting just to get that extra 2% boost. Same kind of core feedback loop happens in Shrapnel. You're grinding it out, you're collecting better and better gear, you place that in your permanent inventory, but there's always the idea of permadeath, the idea that you can bring in gear and lose it in the game. And that is actually the core earning potential of the Shrapnel ecosystem is you kill other players, you take their gear, you win, they lose, it's a zero-sum game. I think it's actually pretty important for a sustainable long-term ecosystem because it's also where the highest earning potential is held in an extraction-based shooter. One of our core innovations is we are staging it into 3 acts. So the problem with Escape from Tarkov, I think, is it's pretty rough around the edges. It's a hardcore extraction shooter, and it's essentially like flying an aircraft day one. It's really hard to learn. We're trying to ease off some of that tension, some of that learning curve. And with Tarkov, you're dropped in. There's danger around you at all times. You can't choose your own risk tolerance level. And in our game, we actually have 3 acts. The first act, call it a drop ship or an extraction zone where you can get off. You can, for those of you who are rather new to the game, you can collect some gear. Maybe you've killed some people. This is your chance to get out, right? You could choose to stay as well. But if you stay, there's going to be more wolves in the second act. But that's entirely your choice. So we're trying to sort of tune down or choose your own adventure, choose your own risk tolerance level. And obviously in the third act, that's like your final three esports moment, right? That's where you'll find the $50,000 Shroud rifle. So I want to talk a little bit about our land content discovery protocol. I think it's quite important, and hopefully we're making some innovations in this space and creating some really good utility with our land NFT concept. The core idea behind our lands is that they're essentially validator nodes in our content discovery protocol. So with the UGC platform, there's a lot of content out there, right? There needs to be a community-sourced sort of Google search algorithm to source and promote the best content. So the way I think about it with an analogy is this is how the movie industry works. The fans and the consumers just want to see the best movies, right? They go to the movie theater. There's not a selection of 1,000 movies to see. There's only 10 of the top ones, the best ones, and that content is curated, right? So as a landowner, you are basically the guardians of content. You promote, you're a small business. It's essentially like being a studio operator in the movie business. You get pitched a lot of maps, a lot of movies. You select, or you can build the movie or content in-house. You select the best content to be pitched into movie theaters. And that's essentially what our lands represent. Guardians and gatekeepers of content, and obviously letting capitalism run its course, because being a land operator is essentially an equity holder in our protocol, because we have revenue share as well to all the landholders. So we believe that's a pretty neat, innovative system, and hopefully introducing the concept of the first private equity in the metaverse. So here's some screenshots of our biomes. This one is actually voted by our Discord group as the one that the community wants to focus on. So we do give the community an active role and participation in how the direction of the platform. Here's a couple more. So this one was the other choice, actually. So our community members liked the Golden Gate Bridge, the torn down one, a bit more than this one. I personally like this one more, but let's let it be. And like any good transmedia company, we do focus a lot on storytelling and world building, because we think it's essential for any community-driven FPS platform, right? So we do have a backstory. I think it's pretty interesting, and obviously, given our HBO connection, a TV show is not out of the question. So with the backstory, essentially, the Shrapnel world is set about 20, 30 years in the future. Asteroid hits the moon and creates a giant crater in it with Saturn-like rings that expand out from it. And you can see a bit of that here as well. So I dropped a couple of images of the moon in the background. The Saturn-like rings rain down, mini rocks, mini asteroids on Earth, and create this sort of sacrifice zone that you see here in red. The aftermath is a couple of cities are demolished, and in spawns the MEF, which are private military forces who come in and extract the platinum-rich minerals in this asteroid. So far, so good. Pretty typical story, but here comes the plot twist. There's an unknown compound that gets discovered called shrapnel that's embedded in one of these rocks. And folks can't figure out what it is. They try to decipher it in labs, but no one can figure it out. Until eventually a scientist does the classic coin flip test next to it, flips a coin next to shrapnel, and figures out that the probability is no longer 50-50, and that it's more like 60-40 or 70-30. There's skew in the outcome. And we call this sigma drift, sigma being standard deviation, so it skews the normal distribution curve of outcomes. Essentially, it bends luck, and it bends space-time. So obviously, with this new technology, trillions of dollars are poured into it. Sigma engineering starts, and Sigma Corporation is invented. This is the super evil megacorp that takes over the world. And with that, I should probably stop, because I heard a timer. And just a couple of, small details here and there. We're very detail-oriented. There's a backstory behind a backstory behind a backstory. We're trying to build a Star Wars-style universe with multiple fictions, and obviously have a comic book series as well coming up, and an Operators NFT that will be dropping to the community very soon. There's also drones and murder bots. That's it. Thank you.